Today on episode 203 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, the NFL Week 5 Pick Show, College Football Week 6 Preview and Week 5 Recap, and the TCF NOT Top 3 of States. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back to Typical Chicago Fans. It is episode 203, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure you check them out on social media. Get yourself some good coffee. You can find us on Twitter at typical_Chicago or X or whatever you want to call it these days. Typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like as well. For all of our content in video form, including the newest food review from the TCF food review playlist. It is our longest food review. It's about 20 minutes. You'll have to go there and check that out. We taste tested 14 cookies from Fat and Weird Cookies that we got online. So that was a long one, but it was well worth it. That is on YouTube, Typical Chicago Fans. Hit the subscribe button. Wherever you get podcasts, we are there as well. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. And, of course, the man that I'm joined with tonight, that is Zach at Lilia TCF. Zach, how are you feeling after eating those 14 cookies, dude?
It was tough. Luckily, we broke it into two different times that we did it, and it was still very tough.
A little peek behind the curtain. Yeah, we didn't do it.
It was very good. I mean, they were very delicious, but I would not recommend eating that many at a time.
Looking back on it now, we probably should have done 5, 5, and 4 instead of 2, 7 cookie nights.
It was all right though. We got through it. It was delicious, and it's for the love of the game.
It was. We did not. That's what's kind of crazy about it is we tried 14 cookies and we didn't have a bad one. So please make sure you go on over to YouTube, check out the newest food review from Fat and Weird Cookies. But also, we've got to talk about it, dude. First day of fall weather today, man.
Yeah, not a fan of it, honestly. I love fall weather, but it was very chilly today, rainy, cloudy. I like a little fall weather when the leaves are falling, but the rain does not need to be involved.
Yeah, I knew. We went to dinner tonight, and when it was 46 degrees at 6 o'clock, I was like, oh, we're going straight into it. We went from 90 like 2 days ago to 45. I mean, it's a bit of a jump, but I am perfectly okay with it. I got my hoodie sitting right over there. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what it's all about for us Husky fellas. We talk about it all the time. It's thick guy weather, and this is
the time of year we live for.
Exactly.
People have their beach bodies. We have fall bodies.
We're fall guys. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. That makes me feel a lot better about my diet that I ruined tonight at dinner. Let's jump into things as always. We've got sinkers and floaters. And my sinker is using old age as an excuse for anything anymore. And this is actually a local story that was in the Associated Press. This was in Ottawa, Illinois. And that is because a 104-year-old Chicago woman, not Sister Jean, but a different 104-year-old Chicago woman, set the Guinness World Record to be the oldest person to ever skydive. Just a couple weekends ago, she actually was supposed to go in like mid-September, and bad weather actually postponed it. So it was Dorothy Hoffner. She said that age is just a number when she did her jump through Skydive Chicago at Ottawa. It's just north of the interstate there. Guinness Book of World Records. Before that was set by a 103-year-old Swedish woman, but the Swedes can move on over because the world record was set just down the road here in Ottawa, Illinois. So, shout out to Dorothy Hoffner, 104 years old, hopping out of perfectly good airplanes.
No, thank you. Good for her. Awesome, but I would never do that just because I am very scared of heights. So that will not be something I will ever do. But good for her.
So this is I don't want this to sound like bad, but like at 104, like why not?
Yeah, I guess, but still.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't enjoy it, so I would not do that.
I mean, I feel like there's no shot I'm going to get to 100. But, I mean, if you're in the 90s, why not bungee jump and skydive?
No, if I'm 104, I'm doing what I like to do, and that is not one of them. So
I think I might, in the old age, get that adrenaline, like what? It's better to jump out of an airplane than to sit in the old folks' home all day and stare at a wall.
there's a lot of other things you can do than going way up in the sky to
Dude, at 104, not
fun.
really, though.
Yes, there is. There's so many other different things you can do. Virtual reality, all that stuff. Like, you don't have to go all the way into the sky to get a rush.
Not even that. We're talking about like setting Guinness World Records. This isn't just like your run of the mill. Like,
I mean, if you do something at that age, it's pretty much anything you do is going to be the oldest anyone's ever done it.
I'm just saying, when I get old, I might try it. Well, there's no way I'm going to get to 105. So I think Dorothy's record is intact. So good for Dorothy.
Yeah, good for her. My sinker is allergies. It's that time of year. Harvest season where we're at, dust is all over the place. You wake up every morning, it's just a snotty nose. Your throat kind of hurts, scratchy. It's just that time of year especially because you open the windows more often now this time of year and stuff like that. But allergies just suck, and I wish you could just take a pill or something to get rid of them. But
I think allergy pills would probably do it. But
you can take allergy pills, but I mean, it doesn't prevent it all the way. They're not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you're still gonna have something going on.
That's fair. I think I talked about it last week because like right before we recorded last week, I had mowed the yard and I was struggling.
I wonder if there's people in the world that don't have any allergies.
I used to never really be bothered. Like, I guess I never really like thought about it. Like, I've never gotten like an allergy test to find out what I'm allergic to, but like it's definitely there's something in my pine trees that I am allergic to because if I brush up against them, I break out in a rash. But I also am not going to pay the money.
There's like corn being picked all over the place, so there's dust all over,
and I think like it just the way it feels. Like the field around our house was like one of the first fields to get taken out. So my allergies hit like September 30th. It felt like that feels early,
but it's something that a lot of people I think go through. So it sucks, but it's just that time of year.
Definitely is that time of year. Moving on to floaters. My floater is my family members, and that is because I don't know if I've talked about it on here, but in the last couple weeks, my brother got engaged. Shout out to my brother. You always see him on our tweets and Facebook, stuff. He's been on the show before. Shout out to my brother, got engaged a couple, I think 2 weeks ago now, 2 weeks from when this comes out. So congrats to him and Ad. And then a couple weeks before that, my mom was named the town hero, the Trojan hero for the high school's homecoming. My mom works at the local high school, and they pick like a staff member every year to be their Trojan hero. And my mom was named the 2023 Trojan hero. My dad was also, we didn't have the podcast then, but back in like 2015, I think it was maybe around there, my dad was named the Trojan hero. So if we're not going to check the records, but I think that the Bloomhurst family is the first back-to-back, maybe the Mosers, but only very local people will know who they are. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Bloomhurst first family of Trojan heroes. So big month for my family here this past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And also, on a personal note, Zach, I think I was in the top 1% of people to find out that Drake's album came out.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So I was up. I left the house at 5:15 this morning, and for some reason, at like it was probably 5:25, and I'm halfway down to Peru, and for some reason, I just pulled up Drake on my Spotify, and I scrolled down, and I was like, oh, wow, like Drake's album came out. I didn't think it was like that it came out last night. Mm-hmm. And then I like get to work and I start scrolling through Twitter, and Twitter like immediately was like blowing up that his album came out. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I was in the top 1% of Americans, the first 1% of Americans to find out Drake's album came out.
Or his is best is what people are saying. His best.
I hope it's a grower because first I listened through it once and it's okay.
I don't really listen like full albums anymore. I don't understand why I can't like do that with my brain, but I just like just play different kind of music all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough. I haven't.
I do the
I
same
guess I
thing with
shouldn't.
like television series. I'm so bad at watching like one at a time.
Yeah, yeah. Zach, it's the same problem I have, dude. It's this ADHD thing we've had. So
Well, also, yeah, also, it's just there's so much like so many options.
yeah, that's a big problem. That's very true.
My floater kind of goes along with what we were saying at the beginning of the show. Sweatshirt season for the boys. You gotta love it. Sweatshirts on. I got like a pullover on right now. It really it helps us. Let's just say that. Uh, and also like it's extra pockets too. I love that, and they can go along with a lot of things. I like wearing sweatshirts. You have to wait all summer to get here, but we are here, and we are ready to wear our sweatshirts. So like crew necks, whatever you wear. I guess sweaters, however you
I'm not a
want to
crew neck guy. I will wear a hoodie
call it.
for 9 months, but I don't know what it is. I have to have the hood there, even though I very rarely put it on my head.
Yeah, you even have like short sleeve shirts that you have hoods on. So,
Yep, yep. I've got a couple. They're like the Bill Belichick style
but fellas, we
hoodies
made
with
it
this.
through the beach body season. We know we hate that time of year. We're here for sweatshirt season.
That is true. This is a perfect time for guys like us. We say this all the time, but no, I have a gigantic collection of hoodies. So I got very excited. I got to bust one out today, and I can't wait to bust another one out
Well,
tomorrow.
the problem with hoodies is like they take so much room up in a closet. So you like notice it more often that like, oh, I have a lot of sweatshirts.
That is true. That is true. Big time of the year for guys like us.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and jump into it, Zach. We got the TCF Sports Minute. Nothing to talk about here that we haven't talked about with the Cubs and Sox. Their season is over. We're not even going to get onto it here off season. It's not. It's a ways away.
Time to talk about the Cubs and the Sox. Cubs
exactly.
blew it.
So
they really blew it, and
I'll
the
let
White
you
Sox
start off
stunk
on a. Yeah, you nailed it, dude. I'll let you start off on a positive note here. The Bears get into the win column on Thursday night.
Yes, first time since October 22nd of 2022. I think it was just a little under a year. We were getting close. We were getting very close.
347 days is what I saw.
Yeah. DJ Moore, 8 catches for 230 yards, which is second all time in Bears history. Booming, do you know who is number 1?
Most receiving yards in a single game?
Yep.
Mushin Muhammad.
Nope.
Don't tell me. I get 3 guesses. Mushin Muhammad, no. Allen Robinson.
Nope.
Give me like a decade.
We played between 2010 and 2020.
Oh, holy cow.
I think.
Brandon Marshall.
In that area.
Brandon Marshall.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Really?
Yep, Alshon Jeffrey is
the my God.
Single game yards record.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, me either. They said it, and I'm like, wow, that had to be with Jay Cutler.
Oh yeah, I would assume so.
That's fun.
I would assume so.
But
so let's
230 yards, 3 touchdowns. Honestly, let's talk about this. That could have been 4 touchdowns. And what I just don't like about that was they didn't show any replay on the TV. I don't understand that. They didn't show any replay of him going out of bounds. If he was out of bounds, they should have showed us that. They never showed the replay. And then just kind of moved on from that. That could have been another touchdown. Who knows? But then the third touchdown, I thought that was an interception. Went right off his hand. Touchdown. Yeah. The Bears started off really, really well in the first half. When I think it was 27-3 at halftime, it got close. It was 40-30. No, It
No,
was
it was
30 to 20.
yep.
And the Commanders miss a big field goal. I really think it could at least gone to overtime if he makes that, because that puts a lot of pressure on the Bears. They go down, get the touchdown. Game's pretty much over. But I was listening to Barstool Chicago, their after show, and it was right. It was the most nerve-wracking blowout I've ever been a part of.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it was. You were winning the whole time, but late in that third quarter, you're like, "Uh-oh, here we go again." But they got the win. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but I'm just happy to get that win out. Okay, I understand that. But I'm just saying, I'm just happy to get that win.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they may be able to get back to 500 here pretty soon because their schedule is not that great.
That's true.
With having like the Vikings, and I think they play the Giants at some point. But I just wanted to get the win out of the way. I was so tired of the 14-game losing streak. That was getting very annoying. Get that out of the way. You have until a week from Sunday. You play the Vikings. I think is it in Minnesota?
That I don't know. But I think you had a really good point here in the sense that it got the monkey off your back, right? The 800-pound gorilla in the room is no longer there, in the sense that there was still a possibility that you could go 0-17. Like, that monkey is now off your back.
Yeah, Eberflus was being said that he could get fired if they lose the game. Justin Fields
in Chicago.
What? In Chicago? Love it. Justin Fields, the last 2 games, he's looked very good. And that's what you want to see, because if he can be a good quarterback and you're going to have the Panthers pick, and then if you don't do that great this season, you're going to have a lot of room to make some moves there. If he is the quarterback and you don't have to waste the pick on Caleb Williams. So I'm happy to see that. The last 2 games, he has looked really good. So that just kind of build on that. Maybe the first few games were from not playing preseason games, which is kind of annoying, but let's just hope that's what it was. And he can at least play well. I'm not saying that the defense it's going to be tough. It seemed like the last 4 or 5 plays, a person got hurt every single time.
Yeah.
But they have at least a little bit of time here. It's like a short bye week to get healthy to play the Vikings. And I've seen Jalen Johnson. He was on the radio today saying he will play against the Vikings, so that'll be big to have back. Not sure if Eddie Jackson will be back. That would be awesome too. But it also, my last thing here, the defensive front really got to them. You really showed they got a lot of pressure. They had been said over the last few weeks that they don't get pressure. Been a lot of talk about that on the radio. They got to him. Not saying that they got a bunch of sacks, which they did finally. I think they had five sacks in this game. They had 2 before that in the first 4 games. So that just shows you the pressure they got. And also, there's a lot of improvements they can make too, because I don't know if you saw this. They let Howell get away a few times where they should have had him. There were a few times where I know whatever with Justin, he's not Justin Fields. He's not be able to make those running plays. He shouldn't be able to do that with his skill set. And he was running pretty well, but they just kept missing tackles, and you can't do that. And luckily, it didn't hurt them. But there was a few times where he got a first down when he should have not got one.
Yeah, I think that like you said, it's a win, and you're in the positive. And even from an outsider's perspective, Justin Fields in the last 2 games, regardless of who the opponent is, looked good. He finally looked like the quarterback that people saw at Ohio State, and not saying that, he's still a very young quarterback who's don't jump off the ship when he turns around and has another bad game. It's still a learning process, and I think that I don't know if Luke gets he's the guy. That's another conversation for another day.
But how many times can we fire the guy and then think we're going to get a new coach? It's going to be great. At some point, we got to just try and fix something in the moment and not just break everything
throw the
up.
baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I mean, like you had said, I mean, not even 5 hours before kickoff, there was rumors that Eberflus was going to get fired. And, then you've even got, talking heads on podcasts and, the radio saying that, when do you start looking at Tyler Badgett because you're going to draft Caleb Williams? It's like, guys, like, we're also in week 5. And, like, I'm not saying, from an outside, like, I don't think the Bears are a good football team. But at the same time, like, in week 5, you can't be calling for an undrafted free agent to take over a kid that you took with the 12th overall pick. Like, pump the brakes.
You really can't say that the reason that they are 1-4 is because of Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's such a multifaceted thing with you don't get to 1-5 because of one bad player.
Yeah, but like I said, Vikings, a week from Sunday, we get to watch some football on Sunday without having to worry about watching the Bears. Excited for that.
And on the positive side, Zach, you have successfully flipped a 32nd pick for a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick. Chase Claypool has been traded to the Dolphins.
From what it looked like, it was a swap of picks for that year.
Yeah.
But the Chase Claypool thing did not work out well. But also, in his case, like, I don't know what he's thinking. This is the last year of his contract. If he doesn't go out and play well with the Dolphins, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean,
dude, he's done.
He got himself out of Chicago. It did not look good. There were already stuff that about him when he was in Pittsburgh and in the locker room and stuff like that. And it's just kind of, you look back at it, though, and Ryan Poles has made a lot of good moves. But that was one move that I think we just kind of thought, oh, we need to get a wide receiver right now because who knows if we're going to be able to get one in free agency and this and that. And then you go and get Chase Claypool, and he's done nothing for you.
0-10 in the Chase Claypool era.
Yeah, we get rid of him and we finally win, so maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the problem. Like, Ryan Poles could go on to be a good general manager, but, like, people are going to remember that he traded essentially a 1st-round pick for a swap of a 6th and 7th. It's just, it sucks because and I think Chase, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Chase Claypool is going to turn around and have a great career. I think Chase Claypool's NFL career is all but over. But he did it to himself. This guy was good for 1 year and hasn't done anything since. So if I was a Bears fan, I'd be saying good riddance.
Yeah, I was surprised they got what they got. They didn't have to release him, so they don't have to worry about taking the cap hit on that. So they move on. It is what it is. And I'm happy that the pick's already been done with from last year. You don't have to worry about it. It's over with. We just move on from everything.
Yep. That's all you can do right now. But with opposite regards and talking about the past, we're worried about the future here with one team, and that's the Chicago Blackhawks, who have kicked off the preseason. A lot of excitement around Bedard. He's already had a couple goals, couple assists. I think we've talked about it a million times. Yeah, he does. And Maddie says it, tries to reassure us all the time. Like, this team has a chance to be very bad. But you know what? They're going to be fun. And I think you noticed that in the first preseason game, they played a lot of young guys, and it went horribly. They got absolutely smoked. And then they turn around and play some of the veteran guys. Much better game. I think they ended up winning the second preseason game. But I've just been impressed with Bedard. I mean, he just turned 18. So here's the hypothetical that I want to give to you, Zach. And I think this comes from Spit and Chicklets. Would you rather Connor Bedard be phenomenal this year and the Blackhawks miss the playoffs, or Connor Bedard look like an average hockey player and the Blackhawks go to the playoffs?
I'd rather him look amazing.
I think I'm with you.
Because I think if he looks amazing, that's going to help you get free agents. They're going to be like, this guy could be one of the greatest of all times if he really has an amazing first year. There's going to be some good free agents coming up here in the next few years. I think that, yes, you want to make the playoffs, but you also want the player that you drafted who is supposed to be one of the greatest. He's, like I said, top 5, maybe draft picks of all time, if you really think about it, all the hype around it. You know what I
I
mean?
love that we haven't even played a regular season game, and Zach's already putting one of the
No,
GOATs.
no. What I
I
mean is
love
like
it.
the hype leading up to the draft, and
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, you like all the media around it and stuff like that. There really hasn't been many hockey players that has had that kind of like before they were in the NHL.
that kind of generational talent. I think I'm with you because I think in the sense of, um, like I know just knowing this roster, this team's not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. And sure, you can talk about, getting lucky in the playoffs, but like even if they go to the playoffs, this team's not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Even if everybody plays, to expectations and higher, I don't think this roster is good enough to win a Stanley Cup. So I would almost rather Connor Bedard just look incredible, stay healthy. That's a big one. And just write it out from there. But I'm just, for the first time in a long time, I'm just excited to watch hockey. And like I said, it hasn't been that way in a while.
I don't know who makes the NHL schedules, but they had the Blackhawks on the road for like the first 5 games.
Yeah.
I think there's one preseason game left. And then they will be moving on to the regular season, which I think they play on ESPN opening night.
And I've said this, I'm a man of my word. I joined a random fantasy hockey league on ESPN the other day. So I'll have some updates on you. I literally got to, after like the first 5 rounds, didn't know anybody. So we're going to learn here together, folks. So, we'll see. We shall see. In the other side of the United Center, the Bulls have open training camp. I'll be honest, man, it's a very similar roster to what we've seen. We'll have a bigger dig into what the Bulls season's going to look like. But, like, no Lonzo Ball. There's been a couple of additions and subtractions here and there, Javon Carter and things like that. But I think at this ceiling, this team is a playoff team.
Yeah. I mean, they should be an 8th seed, I bet, but they can still make the playoffs.
Team, if everybody stays healthy,
I'm just saying they can make it in as an 8th seed or, I guess, above.
I think the best this team can do is a 4 seed at the minimum of what this team should be as
tough.
A 6 seed.
That's gonna be tough.
But it's led by 3 veteran guys, and then you're also talking about Patrick Williams, who is in his 3rd year. You're talking about Kobe White, who is in his 4th or 5th year.
What really changed really much between this year and last year? You got Von Carter.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, there really hasn't been any moves. But, like, also last year, we dealt with the first half of the season with Zach LaVine having his lowest offensive output of his career, basically, since his sophomore year. There was injuries, and I just feel like that this team. I talk about expectations. I expect this team to be in a playoff.
Yeah, I'm not saying they won't make the playoffs, but I think they're gonna be fighting to get in.
When you have Zach LaVine, who is a top 25, 30 scorer in the NBA, you have DeMar DeRozan, who I would also probably put top 25, top 30 scorers in the NBA, and a veteran like Vooch, there's no reason this team shouldn't be a 6 seed.
I understand that, but they had the same exact guys last year, and they did not even they were in the play-in tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like now it's put up or shut up time with this team, and I think that Billy Donovan and the roster knows that like this is not, there's no time to screw around here because this could end really badly with people losing jobs.
They can turn it around because if they do what they did last year, it's not going to be fun.
You know what is fun though, Zach?
What's fun?
Starting your day off with some delicious coffee. And the best place to get that is from our friends over at Connect Roasters. Okay, folks, they work with Dom Frederick, Ian Happ. You don't win gold gloves and drink bad coffee, okay? It's just the way it is.
20 home runs in a season.
You don't be the director of morale for the Chicago Cubs and drink bad coffee, all right? So go to connectroasters.com. Follow them over on Twitter or X or whatever it is, at Connect Roasters. New storefront opening in Bourbonnais here soon. But before you head over there, trust me, you're going to want to go online. You're going to want to buy some delicious products, try them at home. Then you're going to get to go to the storefront in Bourbonnais. It's going to be just as good. So make sure you go check out our friends over at Connect connectroasters.com and on Twitter at connectroasters. So as always, a big shout out to our friends over at Connect Roasters. Zach, it is week 5 of the NFL season, and we are deep into it in the NFL Pick Show. You are in first place still somehow, still a lot of time left, a lot of game left, but you are at 17-7. Okay, so people, now is the time to start fading Zach's picks because it's about
Jump
to
on
end.
Board.
Pigoy is in second at 13-11. I am in third, barely at 9-13-2. And Maddie is in last place at 8-15-1. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Zach, who do you got in the noon games?
I have the Saints going into New England +1. I think the Pats are not very good. I think the Saints are a pretty good team. They got Alvin Kamara back. I think that the Saints, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they can stay around 500 for the team that they have.
My only worry, I like that pick, but my only worry is I don't know how healthy Derek Carr is. And also, I have a hard time betting against Bill Belichick.
True. But Jameis.
But, yeah, well, that's true.
But, yeah, I think, so we got Saints. And then we got Colts +2.5 at home against the Titans. I don't think the Titans are a very good team right now. I think that Derrick Henry had a pretty good game last week, but the Colts, I think that they can be a decent team. I don't know. Boomy, help me out here. Colts running back.
Jonathan Taylor.
I think he's back this week.
Okay, so he got activated from the PUP list, but I don't think he's playing this week.
No, well, that stinks. Well, that's not a problem. But +2.5, I'll take it. Colts, prove me wrong.
Yeah, I stayed away from this game, but I like Anthony Richardson a lot, which is hard for me to say because I hated him at Florida. I thought he's not very good. And now I'm starting to realize that might be Billy Napier's fault. But
all the guys that got drafted, I think it's like him and C.J. Stroud are having the best season so far.
C.J. Stroud is really good.
Really good.
I don't hate that pick either. I'm going to use the Sunday morning game as one of my noon games, and I'm going to take the Bills -5.5. And I understand that Jacksonville plays really well in England, but the Bills are finally starting to hit a stride. The Bills are coming off that huge win over the Dolphins, who are probably the best team they've played so far. They're really, really starting to hit that stride, and I think that Jacksonville is going to have a little bit of an inflated ego after beating a bad Atlanta team. So I really like the Bills here to win by a touchdown, but it does worry me. Being in London, it might be a low-scoring game, but I just think the Bills are starting to it might be too early, but they tend to do that. They start off a little slow, and then they start hitting their stride. I like what the Bills are going to do here this weekend. And then I will also take that this one is probably my biggest stretch of the weekend, and this is probably going to bite me in the butt here. I'm going against the idea of picking interdivision home dogs. I'm going to take the Ravens -4.5 at Pittsburgh. And I'm strictly just doing this on the sense that I think Pittsburgh is awful. I think Pittsburgh is a bottom 5 team.
They've come to life here.
The Ravens or the Steelers?
The Ravens. I said they come to life here a little bit. They've been playing well.
Yes. They're so banged up. I don't understand. They're 3-1. Their only losses to the Colts. But they blew the doors off the Browns last week.
Lamar Jackson's showing he can throw the ball.
Yes, I think Pittsburgh is awful, and that's strictly why I'm taking this. Who do you got in the afternoon?
Might play, but he's going to be hurt.
Yes, it only worries me because it's an interdivision game at Pittsburgh. That one is my stretch of the week. Who you got in the afternoon, dude?
I have the Bengals going into Arizona -3. I think the Bengals are at some point going to have to turn it around here. And I think the Cardinals are just not good. And then the Jets, what were the Jets? I think +2
2.5.
going into Denver.
2.5.
2.5. The Broncos stink bad. And I think that the Jets, they've been playing well. We got a little momentum going. See if they can go in. I just think they said the Broncos are really bad.
And I think the Broncos are going to come off of being on that high, thinking that they did something by beating the Bears last week.
That's also a game that we're going to look back and be like, dang, I wish we had that one back.
Yeah, I like both of those picks so much. I also have the Bengals -3. I know Joe Burrow is not 100%, but I think that the Cardinals might have peaked. And I think especially you get into week 5, and I know Josh Dobbs got brought in very, very late. Now is the time where teams are going to start figuring out Josh Dobbs' tendencies within this offense. And this, let's be honest, this Cardinals team is not very good. And they've shown that at many points. Yeah, they beat the Cowboys, but they've had moments where they don't look very good. And I think this is a very good opportunity for the Bengals to get right here and even go in with a banged up Joe Burrow and take care of business and win by more than a field goal, I think is more than plausible here. My other pick, this one also might come back to bite me here, but the Chiefs -4. I mean, there is a part of my brain that says that the Vikings have to figure it out at some point. But like, if they were going up against anybody but the Chiefs, I would probably agree. But it's the Chiefs, and the Vikings stink. So give me the Chiefs.
Will Taylor Swift be there? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Who do you got in the Sunday night game, the Cowboys 49ers?
49ers -3.5. I mean, the 49ers are so good at home, especially at Sunday Night Football. I think they're going to win pretty handily.
Give me the Cowboys. I think that the 49ers have not played anybody. Cowboys had a bad week against the Cardinals a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they did. They screwed me out of Survivor Pool. Never forgive them.
I still think the Cowboys are a very good football team. They absolutely blow the Patriots out last week. This is their first real test
not a very
against
good team.
Football team. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game outright. It does worry me that it's in San Fran, but you know what? Sometimes you got to take chances in life, and I'm going to take a chance on the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are a good football team. Monday night, Packers Raiders. I know you're going to say something dumb here, so go ahead and say
no. Raiders -2.
No, that's
not it.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. In Las Vegas, it's tough to play there.
No, it's not.
It's gotta be weird going there. I mean, just going to Vegas, playing in that place. It's like they don't really have a home fan, so it's gotta be weird. You're so used to like just the other team having the home advantage. It's gotta be. It's always gonna be loud because there's gonna be a lot of people there at any point. It's always that place always has to sell out. I bet just because it's Vegas.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like a home game for the Packers. That's what we call it.
Maybe it's just gonna be. That'd be weird. A home game on the road. I think that'd be weird to be. You're so used to you feed off of the away crowd. So, but yeah, -2.
I think you're just being a hater. The Packers are going to win this game.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. I'm pretty sure.
Shaking.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, they can have whoever they want. Start. The Packers are winning this game. Give them
Devontae Adams going to have a big game against his former team. That'd be big.
Devontae Adams has essentially quit on this season. He wants out so bad. He does
One
not
big game,
care
though.
about
He wants to prove it to the Packers. Why did you get rid of me?
He could care less about this game.
I bet you're wrong.
He is a foot and a half out the door. He is ready to go.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're not right about that, but he wants to prove to a team that traded him they should have done it.
Nah, I don't see it. I think the Raiders stink, but this is a big one. The Packers sitting at 2-2. This is a big opportunity. You got to go ahead and take care of business.
Why is this a Monday Night Football game? I have no idea why.
Yeah,
before the season, I don't think either of these two teams were like teams you'd want to see on Monday Night Football.
But at the end of it, though, dude, look at the rest of the schedule. Name another game here that you'd rather see on a Monday night. All the games this week are not great. Because even the closest game is a pick 'em
49ers
between
Dallas, I would think. I guess it's on Sunday night, but
Yeah,
that would give you
exactly. That's
one.
Sunday night.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The next closest one is a pick 'em between the Saints and the Patriots. Who cares? And then you have a 1.5 difference between the Falcons and the Texans. Really, who cares?
I mean, this is a who cares game too, really.
There's a lot of who cares here in this week, but hopefully we'll get some good football and it won't really matter. So we can live with that. Staying in track with football, but moving into the college game. We are in week 6, so let me run down the Illinois teams here real quick. Illinois actually in action as we record this on Friday night to Nebraska. They're down 17-7 last I checked. They're 2-3 on the season. Really need this one. Northwestern also 2-3. I think by the end of Saturday night that Northwestern is going to have a better record than Illinois because they play Howard, who is 1AA.
Speaking of Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald's $130 million lawsuit against them.
Gee, I did not see that one.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, for whatever.
Wrongful termination.
Yeah, but that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. Arguably the most disappointing team in the state of Illinois. My Huskies, 1-4. We can go into this on a completely different time, but I am ready for a coaching change in DeKalb. Absolutely.
How do you start off that good? You go to Boston College, a team paying you to go there. You win the game, and now you're 0-4 since then?
Yep, you lose to Southern Illinois. You're supposed to lose in Nebraska. Then you lose a game to Tulsa that you should have won. It had Toledo on the ropes, bad play calling. I'm done with it. I'm done, and I hate to say that, but it's year 3, and kind of got lucky. No, year 4, I think. Kind of got lucky on that. The year they go to the bowl against Coastal Carolina and got screwed out of a win. They're not good, but they're going up against a 1-4 Akron team. Chance to get right here. Illinois State 3-1, heading to the powerhouse that is South Dakota State. 2 very different places.
Yeah,
San Diego and South Dakota. The best team in the state of Illinois, the Southern Illinois Salukis, 4-0, hosting Youngstown State. Eastern Illinois, surprisingly 4-1. The Panthers, really solid football club out east. They host UT Martin, and the ugly stepchild of Illinois, Western Illinois, 0-4, going to North Dakota, most likely becoming 0-5.
That's nice.
Got a feeling. Well, people always, gas up Western Illinois. The town's a dump. They stink at football. I got no problem saying it. So, ugly stepchild of the state.
Watch what you say though when your team is 0-4. Since
my team's 1-4, buddy. Take it easy.
I know they're 1-4, but they're 0-4 since being 1-0. Oh, that's just not good.
We're essentially 2-4. The Boston College win counts as 2. So 2-4.
That's not true.
Well, listen, I make the rules in my own head, so we're gonna go with it. In the nation, top 5: Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, and Florida State round out the top 5. I think that's pretty spot on. I think those are the best 5 teams, maybe sans USC.
I think Michigan has to be the best team in the nation right now.
Yes, they're the most consistent right now. But I know we're getting a little bit into week 6. This may be the make or break week for Texas. And I feel like we've said this before, but it's Texas-Oklahoma this week. If Texas can take care of things, Oklahoma's not a great football club, but they're not a bad football club. If they can go into the Red River shootout and take away a convincing win, then you're going to convince me that Texas is a top 5 team. If they come in and lose, bye-bye. Let USC into the top 5.
Yeah. The only thing that USC has going against them is their defense is tough. I mean, they're just giving up a lot of points. Luckily, you have Caleb Williams, who's putting up video game numbers right now.
And they've also not really played anybody, so I do understand people's apprehension.
Notre Dame, I think, next week.
Yes. Yeah, and I think they got Colorado last week.
They gave a lot of points to Colorado. Yeah.
Also in ranked games this week, we got LSU at Missouri. That could be a big one. Those are two ranked teams. I hate LSU. I hate Brian Kelly. So I am cheering for Mizzou this weekend. I don't know about you, Zach.
Yeah, I really don't care. But it would be cool for Mizzou to win a game like that.
I hate Brian Kelly so much. And I hate LSU as a Florida fan. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to just be an all-around hater here. Also, we have we already said Texas, Oklahoma, but Georgia and Kentucky. Kentucky had a really good week last week against Florida, who absolutely pissed the bed. But could be an opportunity here. Georgia did not look good last weekend. And this game is at Georgia. It's a good time for them to get right. They are minus 14.5, but I wouldn't count the Wildcats out just yet.
I would say against the spread, I wouldn't count them out, but in the game, I would.
I think there might be an opportunity here. Kentucky looked really good last weekend.
So. Georgia's really good.
But they're not, though. Georgia was losing the entire week last week and pulled it out in the fourth quarter.
And they won.
I don't think this is – yeah, but it was also against a really bad Auburn team.
Alabama's had the same kind of games. It's just sometimes you get up for different games.
You can't just beat Auburn by 7. Auburn is in a complete rebuilding phase with Hugh.
They've won.
The best game, I think, of the weekend is a game that your nephew is going to be at that you didn't get invited to.
And brother-in-law.
Bogus. Notre Dame, Louisville. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game.
Louisville 5-0
right?
For the first time. It has to be since Lamar Jackson played there.
This game's at Louisville?
Yes.
Do you think Notre Dame's got in it to pull that road win out after the heartbreaking loss last week?
I think if they can get this win.
Or not last week, 2 weeks ago.
If they get this win, they're back on track to at least contend for the playoff.
Yeah.
USC, I think USC is at Notre Dame. Yeah, that's another big game. So you got to get through this. It's going to be tough on the road. It's a night game, which Notre Dame does not play a ton of. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would like – this is like the perfect time. If Notre Dame pulls this off, all the Notre Dame fans – everybody always says, I'll join the conference. They don't play anybody. Notre Dame's schedule this year has been really solid. And if they can pull this one out and stay in just the one loss. But
I am one of those people, so.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm not a Notre Dame fan by any stretch of the imagination. So, but yeah, this would be a big one for those fans. As always, Zach, let's wrap things up here. We have the TCF top 3, but we're going to do it a little different. Last week, we did the top 3 states. We are now doing the not top 3, the worst 3 states. Do you want to go first or you want me to, buddy?
It just depends. I think we're both going to take the same one. Maybe not. Never mind. Maybe not.
Nah.
Hang
on. Let's say it at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Texas.
Nebraska.
Oh.
What did you say?
All right. I said Texas.
Nebraska. What's the point?
What's the point?
I mean, dude, we drove through it. It's so boring. There's nothing. I mean, there's a lot of farmland, and that's great. But, I mean, what else?
I only said Texas.
Omaha is the College World Series, whatever. But, man, when we drove through that state.
It's tough. It is tough. I will say this. I completely agree with your take. They were in my top 3 for sure.
So you're going Texas?
I said Texas, and that is because everybody and their brother from Texas wants you to know that they're from Texas and how great it is down there.
It's also not that very great. Hot.
It's hot as hell down there, okay? It is like the fastest growing state in the country. There's no room for people. It's expensive as can be. Oh yeah, we don't pay taxes here. I'm like, yeah, because you pay like $10,000 a month in rent because you're the fastest. Austin is the fastest growing city in the country. I'm tired of hearing about how great Texas is. I've been there twice. It's fine. It's a perfectly average state. Stop blowing it up like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So it's more of the hype that goes behind it. So I'm just not a Texas guy. This may come into play during our trip next year. Let's hope I don't run my mouth too much between now and then.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, let's hope the Texas demographic doesn't watch a ton of this. I'll give you Nebraska first. Let's see. So Texas this is an easy number 2. This is worse than Nebraska. South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
Big pass. And that is because I remember I think I was like 16 or 17 when we drove through Nebraska or South Dakota. And my dad always made the comment, make sure you go to the bathroom. I'm like, dude, yeah, no kidding. I have to stop and go to the bathroom all the time. He's like, no, you're going to see. And it was no joke, like 40, 45 miles between exits, not like
Oh yeah.
between rest stops, like exits on the highway to get off, even like to go pee down in a ditch or something. 40 miles between an exit. And you think Nebraska, like at least there's like a couple places to look at in Nebraska. Oh, we went by Omaha. Oh, we went over that giant bridge that goes over the highway. Oh, we went by Lincoln, South Dakota has none of that. Absolutely none of it.
No, none of it.
You get two here.
Let's get a go. I'm gonna go Idaho.
Ooh, bad take. I like Idaho.
Are you not awful shape of a state, first of all?
That's a fair criticism.
There's just not much there. And you know what? I'm gonna go hot take here on my last one. Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always cold. Why do I want to go? I mean, I heard it's beautiful. There's mountains are beautiful, whatever. It's always cold. At some point, it's like dark all day.
Yes.
No point.
I am 100% on your side here. I've been to, I think, like 41 or 42 states. I have zero desire to go to Alaska. And we talked about remoteness, right? Like how there's nothing in Nebraska. There's nothing in South Dakota. There's really nothing. Like,
no,
we're complaining about
cold.
We're complaining about 40 miles between exits in South Dakota. You could go like hundreds of miles in Alaska and not see another human being.
And be frozen.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like where you went there. There's actually, I feel bad because there's like more states that come to my mind when I think of worse states as compared to good states.
I will have to say I started writing down cities and then I remembered you said states.
Yeah, that would have been really funny if you came out and you were like Billings, North Dakota.
I almost said Philadelphia.
Yeah, dude, that's I'm fine. I'll do it. I don't know why. I've been to the state once and I never want to go back. Alabama.
Yeah.
Just a dumb state. I hate Alabama. I hate Auburn.
We don't like extremely hot. We don't like extremely cold. So,
and it just like you just feel like I guess I won't say it. I just
swamps aren't very fun. I know.
Well, Florida swamps are different, but
no swamp is fun because there's like alligators in any swamp.
I'm talking about where the Florida Gators play.
Oh, that's fine, but like real swamps. Like, was it Swamp People or whatever? That was that show on History Channel?
Yeah.
That does not look fun at all.
I think that was Louisiana, and I'm actually going to Louisiana.
When I watched that show, I'm like, dude, there has to be a million bugs all over.
Oh, dude, that was one of the things that came to my mind. And, like, this sounds bad, but, like, it just feels like a state you don't want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very run down, very, like, old-timey and slow and like a lot of abandoned buildings and stuff. Like, no thanks.
For two of my picks, well, I guess all three of them, we need sports teams in every state, all four major sports.
Yeah, but if you have a professional hockey team in Alabama, what's the attendance going to be there?
Or like, I think that Nebraska needs like a professional football team or basketball team or baseball, something.
Yeah, draw some people out to those
Not
states.
Just Nebraska College.
Yeah, that's university. Have some respect, buddy.
University, whatever.
What else? What were some that you had on your honorable mentions?
Kansas.
Yeah, that place stinks.
Ohio.
Why did you pick Ohio? I love that pick. I hate the state of Ohio. So
Cleveland, like that's like their biggest attraction, and I do not like Cleveland. So, what is the point of that? Columbus?
I didn't think you had it in you to pull Ohio out of the bag. I like it.
Oh yeah, Ohio's for sure. Oh, and Missouri.
Missouri's not bad. I'm a little close. I had Arkansas on my list.
Well, see, I had St. Louis, so then I had to go Missouri when I started doing cities. So I just went
Yeah.
whatever state that was in.
That's fair. That's Mississippi was also on my, but like to me, Mississippi and Alabama might as well be the same place.
Yeah, pretty much.
I see, but like out west, I don't really have a ton. Like I actually enjoyed Montana. I actually enjoyed Idaho a lot. Idaho would be more in my top 10 than it would be in my bottom 10 because, granted, we snuck onto the football and basketball field at Boise State and we went to a minor league game in Boise, Idaho.
Let's be real. Other than Vegas, Nevada is not that great.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty solid pick. Reno's okay, but for the most part, It's just a desert. Yeah, I'll be California. I've done it twice. I could take it or leave it, but I wouldn't put it in my
big though.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of nice places in it, and so
no,
long too.
I would never put it like in my bottom 10, but it's just I've done it and I don't need to do it again. West Virginia, kind of the same spectrum as Alabama and Mississippi. Don't really, you get it. Let us know.
I don't think I have anything else.
All right. Well, let us know what the 3 worst states that you guys have in your mind. And we appreciate this. This is episode 203. We appreciate you guys for riding with us. Thanks for checking us out. You can find us on X at typical_Chicago, Facebook, and Instagram. Give those pages a like. Please do me a favor. Please go to YouTube, subscribe there for all the content in video form. Watch the newest food review. It was like I said, it's our longest one, and I'll be honest, it might be our most delicious one that we've done so far. Please go check that out. Like that video up. Throw a comment in there. Let us know. Maybe if we get some good likes and some comments on there, maybe we'll give away some fat and weird cookies. Who knows? But give that some love on the YouTube page. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there. Subscribe, rate, and review, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them. Check us out there. And follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, and, of course, Zach at ZLiliaTCF. We can't thank you guys enough. It's going to be a great weekend of football. We really appreciate you guys rocking with us. This was episode 203 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.